What's up, you guys? It's Levi here. Wowzers! This year has been flying by so fast, and it's been going by so fast that I haven't gotten to release my video on the top 3 phishing scams of August 2020. Well, today I got my fishing hat on and I got my fishing reel. And today is the day that I'm going to be talking about the top 3 phishing scams of August 2020. I'm going to be showing you guys what those phishing scams look like. I'm going to be showing you guys what happens if you bite on those phishing scams like Mr. Elon Musk here. And then most importantly, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to protect yourselves so that you don't bite on these phishing scams. Because after all, I don't want you guys to become like Mr. Elon Musk here and be the hacker's favorite fish to eat tonight. Alright, so the first phishing scam that I'm reeling in is a request to open a scanned document. Alright, so you can see in this email here, it's a pretty simple, generic email. It just says, please see the attachment for your scanned document. And then the attachment itself just has a no name. It's just data with a bunch of numbers. Alright, so of course, you're curious just like every human is, and you want to see what that scanned document is. So you smash that attachment button to open the attachment, just like you should be smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And you get this. You get this Word document that says, operation did not complete successfully because the file was created on an iOS device. To view and edit the document, click Enable Edition and click that Enable Content button. So you're thinking, I'm not on an iPhone, I'm not on an iPad, I must have to smash that Enable Content button to be able to see this document. So you go ahead and smash that Enable Content button. Well, you just became a nice fish sandwich like Mr. Elon Musk here for the pirate. Guess what? They can do whatever the F they want to your system. Thank you for being so generous to the pirate. But I don't want you guys to be generous to the pirate, so let's rewind here and see what you guys can learn from this situation and protect yourselves. Alright, so looking at this email, you have to ask yourself the question, do you know the sender? And are you expecting this attachment to come in the first place? If not, this is a huge red flag. Just delete the email. Get rid of it. Report it to your IT department. That's a red flag that it's a phishing scam. Alright, the second question you should be asking. If you do know the person that sent this email, is the actual email address match the sender? Sometimes you'll get it where the email address does not actually match the sender's actual email address. So make sure you look at the email address. And then finally, the last thing that you should look at this email is the lack of details in this email. I mean, it just absolutely does not tell you anything about what the attachment is. It just says open the attachment. And anytime you get an email like this where there's very lack of details on what action you're trying to take on a link, you should be having red flags going off in your head all over the place that it's probably a scam. In the actual message itself, there's no information. In the title, it's just RE. In the document itself, in the attachment itself, there's no information. It's just a document with a bunch of random numbers after it. So you have no idea what the scanned document is. With the lack of information, you should automatically assume that this is a scam and delete this thing or report it to your IT department and move on with your life. Alright, so a lot of you out there aren't going to think before you click and go through the processes I just talked about, and you're going to smash that attachment button to open up the attachment. Because you're curious people, just like most people are, right? But there still is a way to protect yourself if you happen to click that attachment. Alright, so once you click on that attachment, you get this document basically telling you to click that Enable Content button so that you can view the document. Well, this document in itself is a huge red flag that this is a scam. And the reason that it's a huge red flag is because the document itself, the only thing in the document is words telling you to click the enable content button. There's nothing else in there. When you click that enable content button, this is still going to be the only thing that appears. You're just going to give yourself malware on your system that can do whatever the F it wants to your system. But ultimately, this is the document. So if you see a Word document, but with nothing else, but it telling you to click the enable content button, it is 99.9% repeating of the time a scam. And the only time you should be smashing that enable content button is if you 100% know that that document is legit. You verify with whoever you sent it from via another method besides email that this document should have macros inside of it and that you should be clicking that enable content button. Otherwise, whenever you see that enable content button on an email, you should automatically assume that email is a scam and move on with your life and do not smash that enable content button. I've talked about this in a lot of previous videos and I'm sure it will keep coming up over and over again because there's different variations of this type of email every month. They change the template up in the Word document slightly and people just keep falling for this scam. So I will keep bringing this scam up in different variations in the future. I can guarantee it. Alright, the second phishing scam that I'm reeling in is a SharePoint/OneDrive sharing phishing scam that even a user at one of the world's top security training organizations, SANS, fell for. Yes, a user at SANS fell for this phishing scam and they happened to be in their organization. And their organization was in a data breach because of this, and it released 28,000 records of personal information. So it just goes to prove even the experts can fall for things like this. Alright, so the email looks like it's a file shared with you. That's a copy of your bonus. You don't have any time to think because you want to see what that bonus is, right? After all, you guys deserve it after all of your hard work of smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. So you click on that open button so that you can see what your bonus is. And you get to a wonderful Office 365 sign-in page. You go ahead and sign into your Office 365 account and you get to see your bonus is $10 million. Just kidding, you wish. No, what actually happens is you get redirected to some other generic page, such as a Microsoft privacy page, and you don't actually get to see your bonus. And more than likely, you're thinking that the document doesn't work, you might get frustrated, and you move on with your life and forget about it. Well, when you signed into your Office 365 account, you didn't realize it, but you authorized an Office 365 plugin to have access to your Microsoft account. And that Office 365 plugin sets itself up to monitor for specific keywords, like the keywords that you see in this list here, in your email. So every time you get an email with one of these keywords, the plugin is set up to see those keywords and it will send it will forward the email you got with those keywords to the hacker, or what we like to call the pirate on this channel. As you can see from these keywords, all of these keywords contain sensitive information that organizations do not want to leak outside of the organization. So the hacker has some juicy information about the organization when these emails are getting forwarded. And it just so happens with the SAN user that fell for these, they must have been getting a lot of confidential information with these keywords in it that the hacker was then getting because it was getting forwarded, and boom, later on 28,000 records of personal information were sent to the hacker and a data breach happened. Alright, so how do you protect yourselves in this situation? Alright, the first thing is Is this a method that your organization actually does to send your bonus information out to you? Do they share it in a OneDrive or SharePoint document? If not, you should be questioning why you're getting this bonus in the first place through this method. I don't know about you guys, but in all the organizations I've ever worked for, my supervisor usually tells me that I should be expecting a bonus before I get something like this. And if that's the way it works in your organization, if you just randomly, willy-nilly get an email that has a bonus information in it, you should be questioning it, and you should be thinking before you're taking any action on that email. All right, the number 2 thing, and the very, very critical thing of this email that will save your buns, is to make sure that you're hovering over the button before you click on it. Hover over that open document button before you click on it. And if you hovered over that open document button, you would see a link like this. If you look at the end of the link, it goes to AmazonAWS.com. The link's a little bit weird here because they didn't want people to click on the link, so they put in these brackets so that the link wasn't resolvable. But it would go to AmazonAWS.com, and you would be questioning yourself, why does this link go to AmazonAWS.com when this document is claiming to be a SharePoint or a OneDrive document? Shouldn't it be going to a Microsoft page and not an Amazon page? And that would be the correct question to ask in that situation. It should be. So then you would realize that, hey, this is a scam, and you wouldn't click on this because you would realize the link's not going to the right spot, and you would save yourselves and your organization from getting in a data breach. So it is essential that every email that you get where you have to click on a link or you have to click on a button, that you are hovering over that link or that button to see where the link or the button is going before you click on it. Alright, unfortunately in this case, if you happen to smash that open button and sign in, there's not really much that you can do in this situation. Most people, once they hit that open button, they're done for. They've fallen for the scam. They're not going to be able to get out of it like some of the previous cases where you can go and look up at the address bar on the login page and notice that the address bar is not going to a Microsoft page on the address bar. Because in this situation, it's actually going to a legit Microsoft login page. And then once you log into that page, you don't realize it, but you're giving access to that Office 365 plugin that then can go and do those terrible things that we talked about. The good news is, though, that if you can recognize in this situation that your document did not come up and wonder why it did not come up and be suspicious about it, and know from this video that potentially a plugin could be connected to your Office 365 account that's stealing information from that account, you can follow the advice of this video, go down in the description below and click on the link that I will be putting down there that allows you to go and check and see what applications have access to your Office 365 account. And once you click on that link, you'll go ahead and you'll sign into your Office 365 account, and then you'll get to a page that looks like this that lists out all the applications that have access to your account. And if you see any applications inside of there that you did not authorize or you don't recognize, you can remove them out of there and hopefully get rid of this threat if you accidentally installed this plugin on your account. But hopefully you don't get this far and you hover over that link before you're taking action so that you don't fall for this in the first place. Alright, the last phishing scam that I'm reeling in is taking advantage of the whole Rona situation and target small business users needing a small business loan for their Rona situation. Basically, this email is claiming to be from the U.S. Small Business Administration, and it's confirming that they received your application for the small business loan. You just have to fill out information in the attachment and then upload it to their website in order to finish fully submitting your application. So you're a small business and you're really desperate in this Rona virus situation. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to open up that attachment. Well, once you open up that attachment, there's another file inside of that attachment that you have to open. And so you go ahead and you do that. And you run that, and boom, you get malware on your computer that can do whatever the F it wants to your system. Alright, so how do you protect yourselves in this situation? Well, look at that file that you just opened. It's an exe file, a .exe file. .exe files are not documents. When you get a document that you're going to have to fill out information, it's almost always going to be a .pdf or a .word document. So this is absolutely a red flag here. Anytime that you see a .exe in an email, 99.9% of the time, it is going to be a scam. And if you click on that exe, you are going to get malware on your system and you are going to get hacked. So make sure that you are not opening exe files in an email attachment unless you are 100% sure that you are supposed to be getting that .exe file. Most of the time, email filters are smart at blocking these and they won't allow these through in the first place. So when you see these .exe files, they're going to be in something else. Like in this situation, this .exe file was in a .image file. A .image file basically is a virtual CD-ROM. So when you open up that virtual CD-ROM, you see it as if you were opening up a CD-ROM in real life on your computer, and that exe file is inside of there. And the pirate was smart because they hid it that way so that the email filters wouldn't catch it. Well, another technique that pirates will use is they'll try to hide them inside of zip files or 7-zip files. So you have to be aware of if you're opening another file and then you see that exe inside of there. So yeah, most of the time you're gonna have to open another file to be able to get to that exe. But always remember, if you see an exe, to get out of that email, don't open it because you are probably going to get scammed or hacked if you open that exe file. Alright, so I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, make sure that you're following me on Instagram. I'll put my handle down below in the description. You can check that out to see updates about my personal life so you guys can get to know me a little bit better, what I'm thinking about the latest cybersecurity things that are going on in the world, and then updates for the channel. So check that out down below in the description. Also, make sure if you like this content that you're sharing it out with as many people as possible and that you're smashing that like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting that notification bell so as many people can see this as possible, because by doing those actions, it promotes this content out on YouTube so more people can see this content. And my ultimate goal is for as many people to be able to watch this content as possible so you guys can protect yourselves and have a fantastic life and not have to worry about all the cybersecurity threats that are out there. And the pirates can go and get a real job and stop being losers because they won't have any targets that will fall for these cybersecurity scams anymore. So I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.